God bless you today. We're getting ready to get into our I'll call it infomercial. This is April the 9th, 2020. Let me discuss several things, but just before I do, I want to thank you for allowing us to come into your home or wherever you are watching this today. We have so much to talk about. I'll break this up in parts, and I pray to God that we are able to upload and then process it and allow it to air. Again, I will place this. This will not be public. This will be a private showing that you will have to click on the link to get to it. But I would encourage you to share it with as many people as possible. I'm just not making it public on YouTube. All right? Appreciate you. Listen, let's talk first about understanding. Not so much just getting an understanding, but having understanding for everyone's opinion. We're in a time now that what may seem irresponsible to one, it'll be very responsible to another, okay? What may seem like, one may say, well, you don't have faith, that's a lack of faith, It's like people want to be able to just come to church and just have church like you used to have church. So some will say, well, that's irresponsible. And then those that do want to have church cannot say to those that do not want to come, well, you don't have faith, just trust God. Okay, so in other words, let's don't get into the judging opinions. Let people have their opinions and when you have your opinion, don't speak against someone who has an opposite opinion. Okay, that's where I'm coming. Let's look at this. I want to talk about first, and it deals with wisdom. Everything's about wisdom. We do not have a virus problem, germs and bacteria. That's not the problem. We do not have a financial problem or a financial crisis. Our problem is a lack of wisdom in each of those areas. But when you have wisdom in those areas, the crisis goes away. The problem goes away. The sickness goes away. Okay? Let's look at what I have for you today. Whenever you discover something, let every discovery, let it change you in some kind of way. It's just impossible. When something that you didn't know, now you know it. It has to change us. So let every discovery change you, hopefully to the better. Watch this. We must recognize, we must discern what will change us, okay? We need to distinguish what will transform us, especially our life. Our lives need, he said, be renewed, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. See, transformation, in life, we must transform. We must be constantly changing. That's growth. That's movement. That's the Spirit. The Spirit of God is moving. The first thing we saw, he moved upon the deep. Okay? We need to recognize and discover the quality of the soil. Watch this now. Around us. The quality of the soil. Who's around us? What's around us? What are we exposing ourselves to? What are we subjecting ourselves to? Are we subjecting ourselves to things that will harm us, will destroy us? So then we need to recognize the quality of the soil around us. And we must discover if we have the qualified around us, those that are qualified. Now, I'm not talking about qualified with education and training. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, do they qualify to take up your space, qualify to take up your time, qualify to be in your 6 feet. You know, they're telling you to keep a distance of 6 feet. And I'm not talking about from a virus standpoint. There are some people you should give a minimum amount of time to. It's nothing personal. It's nothing high-minded. It's nothing you better. It has nothing to do with that. And that's why maturity is going to come in, because as you begin to weed out the unqualified, it is very sad that, you know, and I used to make, not light of it, but it was something that I joked about a little bit, because it got to the point that it was ridiculous. You know, and I talked about $2 cousins. I really don't like to talk about that now, because the $2 cousins, they're souls, they're people of value, but they're taking up too much of our time. Everywhere you turn, now see, we're in a time now where there's some people don't qualify for your help. They just don't. They don't qualify for it. So that's a message for another time. So you have to be mindful of how you distribute yourself and how you distribute your time, energy, and resources. All right, let's keep going with this, because I got a lot to cover. Once you identify those that are not qualified for your efforts, your time, your energy, you need to discover, or you need to come to a conclusion if that unqualified is useless. I know this is some hard stuff I'm saying, but this is where we are. There are some relationships that's useless. Some people in your life, they're useless. They're not qualified to be in your life. And we haven't come to the realization or have the strength to remove the useless. We have useless in society. And you know, you try to help, you try to have compassion, but they're so useless. You can't keep helping somebody that's not helping themselves. I mean, there's a certain amount you try to do, but help me with this. We're just where we are. This is where we are. Now watch this. Evaluate the harvest you have received. Evaluate it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about all of the planting and the sowing you have done. One thing I say about Tower of Power, there's a group of you that sow. You plant. You are so, man, you give cheerfully. And you see where your funds are going, your time you spent, your energy. It shows. It shows. Look at progress. Look at improvement. Look at upgrade. Just look. So we need to evaluate the harvest we have received. And you need to evaluate the harvest from every relationship. Because if you're not harvesting, you've been planting and pouring into this one and pouring into that one. Okay, come on now. And you're not receiving a harvest. That relationship just sucking you dry. Every time you turn around, it's taking something from you, taking something out of you. Come on now. Not all relationships are productive. That's the first thing. Not all of them are productive. I made a note of it. Right relationships, they're wonderful. They are fulfilling, not only for you, but also for the other person. And you can create a lifetime of favor and friendship, a lifetime. I just believe that when you pour into individuals' life, I hear this saying, they're for a time, they're for a season, and for a reason. I get that. But also I believe when you pour into a life, even for a time or if it's just for a season, that harvest should be, and that favor should be for a lifetime that comes from that. Although you pour it temporarily in for a season in somebody's life, that harvest should be perpetual. Watch this. If you are in or have wrong relationships, they are distractions and they are destructive. All right, come on. They will break your focus. I can't tell you how many times that I've been distracted and could have been destroyed because of individuals. The relationship wasn't a qualified relationship. It didn't qualify. Sometimes I don't qualify for somebody's time. So you won't qualify for somebody's time, and they won't qualify for your time. So it's really not personal. It's where you are in life. It's like right now, I'm doing something right now, and I put notes all over the doors. So if somebody need to get in the church, they know which door to go through and not to knock on doors and, keep your voice down. There's live recording. So right now they don't qualify for this time because this time is dedicated to getting the word out to you. Okay? Watch this. If people break your focus and continue to cause distraction and destruction, your seed will end up creating hardship. What's it? Only productive relationships should be pursued. So let me say that again another way. Distractive and destructive relationships will break your focus, and they'll plant seeds of hardship. In other words, all you will reap from it will be hardship. Wow. So then, watch this. Identify those who disagree with your goals. Identify them. Okay. This person disagreed. That person disagreed. Well, disagreeing with you there's nothing wrong. So don't take somebody disagreeing with you. Because see, we're talking about understanding. We're going to start understanding one another. When I say understand, it may not make sense to you. But you have to leave. Don't put your mouth on that. If they disagree with you, if it's something doesn't make sense to you, and it makes sense to this person, and it makes what they're thinking and their opinion makes sense, don't knock it down because it doesn't make sense to you. There's a lot of things that seem crazy to us. And just because they seem crazy to us, we're going to have to let people have their opinions and not trash it and knock it down. Let me say it again. Identify those who disagree with you. Disagreement will alert you to differences. The fact that we disagree, we have a difference. You might fall out with somebody just because they disagree with you. It don't make you right. It don't make them wrong. You don't understand them. They don't understand you. So what? Come on now. Just get this in your spirit. Identify disagreement. Identify it. Disagreement will alert you. There's some differences. I'm ready. I know we should be back in services the first Sunday in May. I don't know what the CDC gonna say. I don't know what those doctors gonna say. And let me just digress a little bit. Dr. What is his name, Fauci, and Dr. Birch, they are the two main ones that are calling shots and speaking into the president's ear. I'm going to say this is my opinion. This is why I say you're going to have to listen to people's opinion. I think he shouldn't listen to them as much as he is. He should listen to them. But a little later on, talk about how Jesus listened to a whole lot of different people. And he talked with a lot of different people. Sometimes you have to talk to somebody new or somebody that has a different opinion. Or sometimes you have to follow your intuition. As a pastor, I listen to everybody. It's nobody I, don't listen to. But I have to make a decision and decisions. I may not know, I may not have a background in medicine, but I got an opinion about this virus. I got an opinion how it started. And I believe my opinion. And I'm going to stick to it. And when it comes to pass, I already know what it's going to be. Because some of what I know through the Spirit. I know through Scripture. I know what's going to happen through revelation. There's more than one way than your experiences as a infectious disease specialist. And I honor your PhD. I honor your experiences in life, how you, during the AIDS epidemic and with HIV and all that come up. I'm going to digress again. I always tell y'all I'm just talking. I'm not trying to do a message and stick to a particular thing. But listen to me right now. Some of these PhDs, these doctors that I hear people say, well, Mr. President, you need to listen to these doctors, Well, let me tell you what Jesus said. In a parable, not a parable, it actually was a story, and it was about Jesus. He was headed to Jairus' daughter. She was sick, but she died. And we know later he raised her from the dead. That was a woman with an issue of blood. And she spent everything she had. And the Bible said it got worse. And she spent that money on physicians. God, I know I'm telling the truth. But she spent it all and was getting worse and not better. And then she said, in herself, if I can but touch the hem of his garment. So sometimes you can't listen to what doctors say. There's a doctor that made the doctor. You listen to the doctor. You have to have common sense. You have to have the Spirit of God. My granddaddy told me, he said, if you had common sense and the Holy Ghost, man, that's all you need. Something doesn't sound right. You need to investigate and evaluate. Here's my thing. I hear him saying we can't get back to normal until we get a vaccination. Not a vaccination. Vaccination. But they talk about we need this flu vaccine to vaccinate us with. That's hooey. That's phooey. You're not going to develop a vaccine. Think about this for a minute. There's a difference between a flu shot and a vaccine. There's a difference between a treatment and a cure. You'll never get a cure. You'll never get a vaccine to vaccinate people with, to protect them from, keep them from getting Corona-19 or COVID-19. You won't do it. This virus has been around since the late 50s, early 60s. It's just a different strand of it. But this virus has been around. Let me explain something. A vaccine and a flu shot. Every year, you get a flu shot. If you get one, you get a flu shot. There's no vaccination for a flu shot. Excuse me. There's no vaccination for influenza, for the flu. There's nothing you can take to keep you from getting the flu. I mean, it's just none. There's a vaccination you can get not to get smallpox. You get that vaccination. There's a vaccine and a vaccination. There's a vaccine for polio. If you get that vaccine, you don't get polio. Tuberculosis. There are things, vaccines and vaccinations that keep you from getting a thing. So when they're not, see, you can't blow smoke in my face. You can't tell me okay, we're gonna get a vaccine. They're working. Well, they're working hard, but you're not gonna get a vaccine. You may get a flu shot for this virus that'll lessen the severity of it. And here's the other thing: many of you have already had this virus. You didn't have a symptom. Many of you have had this virus, and it came across just like regular flu because it wasn't a severe case. There are certain people who have underlying conditions that it wreaks havoc in their life, and it takes them out. High blood pressure, diabetes, heart conditions, the elderly, the feeble, this underlying condition, asthma, smoking, drinking, alcohol. So listen to me good. Listen to me good. I had to digress on that because there's not going to be a vaccine. So when they tell you at some point in time, a year from now, 6 months from now, a year and a half from now, we have a vaccine, we want you vaccinated, say no. And then if they say you cannot buy or sell, you will not be able to function normally in public and work on jobs and go into stores unless you get this vaccine. Now you know, you better look up. Because there are things that are going on right now that the average person does not realize. And I'm not talking about internet conspiracies. I'm talking about what the Bible warns us of. And I've been preaching very hard the last year, trying to get God's people to realize when these things come. Jesus said, I said beforehand, so when it does come, he said, you will believe. So now, let me get back into this because, like I said, I got so much. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep all of these parts under 30 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. And I'm formatting it in such a way when I upload it, I'm trying to get it to where it'll process and you'll be able to see it. Because I'm promising you right now, I've been censored. And there are some things that they're not letting process. And instead of it saying, okay, it's not a corrupt file, it says that the file or the upload has been abandoned. So that means I'm saying something they don't want heard. Let me say something else. Whenever you teach the rapture, whenever you teach the catching up of the church, whenever you teach that Russia and Iran are coming down from the north to attack Israel, and all of these type things, you're considered radical, and you're considered just like a terrorist of radical Islam. There are, could I say the word serums that they have worked on, and that affect a certain part of the brain, and they included in terrorist, radical Islam, and radical groups, whether it's the white supremacists, extreme thinking, what they consider extreme thinking. I've heard them back in 2000. 2005, I mean, way back, long time ago, they were talking about this after 9/11. What can we do to maybe treat individuals with extreme views, what they consider extreme views, and they come up with some things that could, you know, I don't know what the word, mute you, cause you to be somewhat docile. See, that's one reason they push legalized marijuana. They want you to be a fool. They want you to be numb, a numb minded, going around in some daze. They want you doing all types of drugs and alcohol, things that keep you dull. You know, the Bible told us to be sober. Now that was talking about that has to be some seriousness. And we have a generation and generations now of people that they're dull in their mind. They're dull of hearing. That's what God called dull of hearing. But because those same people, they're treating you like cattle. They want you to work. They want you to not think. They want to tell you, I'm going to give you $15 an hour, $20 an hour. I'm going to give you free this. I'm going to give you free that. But do all the drugs you want. We're going to legalize your drugs. Any problem you have, you can get rid of it. If it's a baby, it's inconvenient. See, right now, while people, scientists, are trying to figure out something to help give life through this virus, through this time of crisis the whole world is dealing with. Because I preached it, the hour of temptation that's coming on the whole world. It hit us so quick. It didn't catch me by surprise, but it did come quick. 1 week, everything was going just boom. And then the next thing we know, everything